The power of Scripture does not lie in its age, its authority, or its ritual use. Its force comes from the architecture concealed within it. A treasury of logic woven through story, law, lament, prophecy, and parable. Scripture speaks across centuries because every verse carries a structure that teaches the mind how to see. It does not merely convey truths, it encodes the method by which truths become discernible. Behind every narrative is a pattern. Behind every command is a structure. Behind every warning is a third factor that clarifies how meaning should be applied. The first power is formation. Scripture trains perception by embedding triads directly into the flow of narrative: origin, distortion, resolution, desire, deception, division, injustice, warning, renewal, faith, doubt, revelation. Every passage carries a pattern that shapes how the reader interprets the world. You do not memorize Scripture so much as internalize the logic it uses to describe consequences. Its stories teach you how events unfold, how corruption accelerates, how integrity stabilizes, and how choices ripple outward beyond intention. Scripture forms the mind by repeating the rhythms of reality until they become intuitive. The second power is discernment. Scripture does not hand you rigid answers, it hands you structures capable of generating answers when circumstances change. Each triad contains a balancing element, the third factor that prevents misapplication of principle. The law produces justice only when tempered by mercy. Authority guides the community to light only when bounded by humility. Zeal leads to transformation, but only positively when illuminated by wisdom. The triads keep truth from collapsing into dogma or dissolving into relativism. When Scripture is read without its triads, it becomes brittle and weaponized. When read with them, it becomes a guide capable of navigating complexity without distortion. The third power is revelation. Once the structures are internalized, Scripture becomes a mirror that illuminates patterns in yourself, your society, and your moment. It reveals the same triadic movements at work in personal crises, political systems, relationships, conflicts, and transformations. Scripture's power is not that it predicts events, but that it exposes trajectories. It shows how corruption forms, how collapse gathers, how renewal emerges, and how the human heart cycles through its own creation and uncreation. Revelation is the moment you recognize the world through the same logic the text uses. When Scripture's patterns and life's patterns align, formation shapes the mind, discernment shapes the choices, revelation shapes the world you're able to see. Scripture endures because it is more than preserved memory. It is a living library of cognitive architecture. It does not command obedience. It cultivates understanding. Its triads teach you how to think, how to interpret, and how to stand in a world that constantly shifts its disguises. That is the real power of Scripture. Not that it tells you what truth is, but that it teaches you how to find it.